Good morning, River Rascals. I'm your host, Julie May Morrill, reporting semi-live from our studio on the banks of the Kiskatoon River in the tiny country hamlet of Haven Hollow. Thank you for tuning in to your favorite radio station, KRYVR River Radio, somewhere south of Normal and just a tad north of Crazy on your FM dial. Here's what's happening on the riverbank today. For our traffic report, we've got smooth sailing down by Miller's Mill, but keep your eyes peeled for Fred and Louise Drager's free-range chickens. The Dragers are recent transplants from the city and haven't quite learned that out here, free-range means fast food for coyotes, foxes, and bobcats. Bless their hopeful little hearts. In our weather forecast, we've got a high of something today, expected with a 60% chance of scattered nostalgia. Expect a light drizzle of dew at dawn and a heavy mist of memories by nightfall. In our Wildlife Watch, we've got a report of a mama bear over at Pine Cone Paradise Campground teaching her cubs how to open coolers. Remember, folks, roll up those car windows, lock down your picnic baskets, and stow your leftovers in the bear-resistant bins. Next up, sports. In Little League news, the Kiskatoon Crawdaddies took on the Pepper Pines Possums. It was 5 innings of wild pitches, spilled sunflower seeds, and one questionable slide into third. In the FFA Barnyard Showdown, Tilly May's prize goat Buttercup broke loose mid-judging and leaped out into a canoe. The canoe wasn't in the water, but she was rocking and a-rolling so hard no one could get her out. Needless to say, Buttercup walked away with the ribbon for most entertaining livestock of the year. And finally, in our trout fly fishing invitational, we had some real trophy rainbows reeled in by some seasoned anglers while old-timer Hank Crank hooked a deflated inner tube. He proudly accepted the award for most recyclable catch. Alrighty, time to pay the bills with a word from our wonderful sponsors. Are you feeling stuck and at a crossroads, searching for life's meaning and your life calling? Invite Pete and his wife to organize a retreat or workshop for your group or organization, where they will take you step by step through their True North Quest training to help you discover and fulfill your calling. You can reach them at 530-598-5935 or on one of those newfangled website things, tnadventures.org. Do you need a 4-legged fishing buddy? Marble Mountain Kennels has got you covered. For the highest quality black, yellow, chocolate, and fox red labs, as well as expert training, contact Pete Morrill at his ranch in Siskiyou County, California. Area code 530-598-0943. And are you feeling tired, achy, cranky, or just plain ornery? Then mosey on down to Doc Hickory's Tonic and Taffy on the Funny Bone Lane, right between the Taxidermy Cafe and Sally's Bait and Wig Shop. 1 spoonful of tonic will perk you up, and 1 taffy will glue your teeth back in place. It's the only apothecary in town where you leave feeling better and stickier than when you came in. Doc Hickory's Tonic and Taffy, guaranteed to cure what ails you or distract you long enough to forget. Let's take a little break from talking and drift into something softer. This next tune feels like the comfort of Harriet Higgs' cool strawberry pie and a screen door creaking open on a summer Sunday afternoon. Here's Hands to Heaven by Tadash Keiji right here on KRYVR River Radio.
I lift my hands to heaven.
I've walked through valleys, shadows all around, lost in my own worries, couldn't find solid ground. I've made mistakes I can't outrun, but your grace shines brighter than the morning sun. I've fallen down, I've felt so small, wondered if I'd ever rise above it all. But in the quiet of a broken prayer, I've found a peace that only you can share. Hands to heaven, reaching for your grace, lifting up these burdens that I can't erase. When the storms are raging and I'm feeling low, I find my shelter in the love you show. Through the trials and the tears I've cried, your mercy finds me where I try to hide. There were nights I thought I'd lose my way. Doubt and fear were all that I could say. But when I call upon your name, the darkness fades, I'm not the same. You've seen me at my weakest, held me through the pain, forgiven all the failures I can't seem to explain. Your love is like a river, steady, wide and true, flowing through the valleys, carrying me back to you. Hands to heaven, reaching for your grace, lifting up these burdens that I can't erase. When the storms are raging and I'm feeling low, I find my shelter in the love you show. Through the trials and the tears I've cried, your mercy finds me where I try to hide. Oh, your restores this tired and restless soul.
Hands to Heaven by Tadash Keiji. Music as smooth as homemade ice cream on a summer evening right here in Haven Hollow. You're listening to KRYVR Kiskatoon River Radio, where the river sings and sunny is a state of mind. And now for your favorite part of the show, our listener call-ins with Jim Bob James. If you've got something to say, give us a jingle. Just remember to keep it clean and don't be mean. Let's see who's brave enough to call in today. Looks like we've got Boomer on the line. Hello, Boomer. Go ahead. You're on the air with Jim Bob James.
Thanks for taking my call. Boomer is not my real name.
That's fine, Boomer. Go ahead and tell us why you're calling today.
Okay, so I'm a good guy, but I want to be a bad boy so girls will like me.
You want to shake things up a bit?
Yeah, girls like bad boys. I tried to be bad. Even tried to shoplift a razor from Quigley's store once.
Boomer, you shoplifted?
No, almost. Was so nervous I thought I'd pass out, so I put it back.
Look, Boomer, I'm not an advice columnist. This is not that kind of show, but I think, deep down, you don't really want to be bad.
No, I do. But my moral values keep getting in the way.
Again, I'm no counselor, but I think you should give up on the bad boy angle and embrace your inner Boy Scout.
You're no help.
I told you this is not a therapy or advice show. We're gonna have to wrap up this segment, Boom. Thanks again for calling in. And ladies, take note. Boomer appears to be single, sincere, and in possession of fine moral values. Though I'll bet he's sweating like a preacher in a poker hall. And around here, that counts as sensitive.
Let's dial it back and take a paddle through quieter waters. This is River to My Home, a segment where we shine a light on the folks who make this place feel like family. It's been a quiet week on the Kiskatoon River, where the trees outnumber the people and the pavement runs out before the stories do. There were a few ripples here and there, an unexpected phone call, a surprise visit, a laugh that lasted longer than expected. Out here it's easy to feel forgotten. That's why it matters so much to be remembered. It started with the phone ringing just after Jillian, that quiet woman from the general store, the one with the faraway look and 2 kids in tow, had finally settled her 4-year-old daughter Raylyn with crayons and let toddler Jacob go wild in the kitchen with pots and a wooden spoon. She answered with a chipper "hello" that even surprised herself. Of course it was Barry. out somewhere in Southern California or Nevada or some other place that conveniently didn't have a forwarding address or a forwarding paycheck. He was extending his absence another 2 weeks. Jillian pulled the twisted cord to the kitchen where she juggled the phone and a sink full of dishes. She kept her voice light. "Could you send a little money for groceries, maybe the phone bill, just the basics, food, lights, possibly diapers for the baby?" And that's when the sermon started. She set the receiver on the windowsill like a boiling kettle and let Barry's tirade simmer and whistle into the open air while she scrubbed and prayed for patience. She let Barry's voice rattle on like an old wind chime in a storm, loud, familiar, and mostly ignored. She was about to carefully, quietly hang up on him. He'd never notice anyway, but that's when she heard it. Click. A breath. A whisper of static. Someone else was on the line. Jillian froze and stared at the receiver. 5 families shared the party line. Which one had just heard everything? An hour later, Jillian's mother arrived, bearing groceries and a level stare. Jessica, of course, brought up Barry. "Does he even exist in your lives anymore?" And Jillian deflected, like always, but this time something had shifted. She didn't feel like defending him, didn't feel like covering for him. She felt tired and a little curious about what life might look like without him and all the justifications. Raylan called her grandma down the hallway. Jillian, have you seen your daughter's art gallery?" she asked. Jillian walked over to find the baseboard walls covered in stick-on sanitary pads. Jessica raised an eyebrow. "Modern art?" "Feminist expression," Jillian deadpanned. For the first time in too long, they laughed. Loud, gasping, feel-it-in-your-stomach laughter. It made Jillian feel like maybe the world wasn't ending. Maybe it was only wobbling a little. After they'd wiped the tears from their eyes and settled into preparing lunch, Jessica looked hard at her daughter. "You used to be full of spark, Jillian. You had plans, remember?" "I still do," she said. "They're just buried under weeds and diapers at the moment." Her mom kissed baby Jacob and left Jillian with a lingering hug, a refrigerator full of groceries, and a smidgen of hope she hadn't asked for but desperately needed. Not half an hour later, an old Ford pickup truck pulled into the driveway. Jillian, slightly alarmed, peeked out the window. A tall, robust woman climbed out, stomped to the front porch, and rang the doorbell, muttering to herself in what sounded like a combination of Italian, determination, and kitchen instructions. Jillian opened the door and was handed a basket, a nod, and a command. "Mangia, mangia!" She blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" The woman's name was Orsolina Donato, and she lived over on Spaghetti Hill. She spoke about 60% Italian, 30% hand gestures, and 10% broken English, and Jillian somehow understood all of it. Or she thought. Orsolina pointed at the phone and frowned, scolded. Ah, so that's who had been listening. Someone else not happy with Barry. Well, join the crowd. Jillian wanted to be horrified, but instead she was oddly touched. Maybe sometimes being overheard was a blessing. The basket was full. Bread, cheese, dried meats, home-canned tomatoes, and freshly picked squash blossoms, which could be eaten in a salad or battered and fried. It all smelled like comfort, and she knew it would taste like kindness. That night, after the kids were asleep and all their bellies were finally full, Jillian sat on the front porch and looked out over the moonlit yard. The crickets chirped, and a cool breeze whispered like water through the pines. She still didn't know what she was going to do, but now she had groceries, a visit from her mom, a good laugh, and a strange Italian angel who'd shown up right on time. That's the news from River to my home, where mothers arrive bringing surprise hope, strangers insist you take their delicious homemade bread, and the party line knows more about your life than you do.
Thank you, Julie May. What a great story. You're really cooking with cornbread now. Can't wait to have you back for more tales from river to my home. Hey, wait. Before I go, I've got a question for you and our listeners. If you were a salad, would you be a tossed salad with limes and carrots, or a macaroni salad with anchovies and maraschino cherries?
What kind of unholy picnic are you planning?
It's a serious question, Julie May. The people deserve answers.
Fine. I'd be a sawdust salad with a drizzle of motor oil and a big old dollop of whipped shaving cream.
Okay, now you're getting snarky.
And you'd better sign off, Jim Bob.
All right. Gather your goofy gossip and garden variety grievances for next time, folks. We'll be taking your calls right here on KRYVR KRYVR Radio. Later, taters.
Now here's the part where we ask for a little something to keep the lights on and the mice out of our place. We're saving up for a studio cat. So if you love the show, toss a few acorns in the jar, metaphorically speaking, or literally, depends on your currency. And after that awkward moment, let's change the mood with a little tune that's sure to pick you up like a sweet cherry pie and a hug if you're feeling blue. Here's Hold Me Tight by Chinmay Awasthi, right here on KRYVR River Radio.
Drifting through the city lights, your shadow by my side all night. Every step we take, it's clear. Destiny has brought us here. Through the storms we laughed and cried, hands intertwined, we never hide. No need for words when hearts align. In your eyes I see the sign. Hold me close, don't let me go. Through the highs and through the low, with you by my side I know. Home is where your heart will show. Rain falls down like endless tears, but your voice, it soothes my fears. Even when the night is cold, your warmth is the truth I hold. Every moment like a dream, life's a movie we redeem. Through the trails that time can trace, I find solace in your embrace. Hold me close, don't let me go. Through the highs and through the low, with you by my side I know. Home is where your heart will show.
Hold Me Tight by Chinmay Awasthi. Music as comforting as a puppy's wet nose on your cheek and a ladybug on the tip of your finger. You're listening to KRYVR Radio, where the Kiskatoon River winds through this cozy little valley under the watchful eyes of oaks, firs, possums, and porcupines. Thanks again for tuning in to Kiskatoon River Radio, where the biscuits are buttery, the banjo's always tuned, and the river keeps rolling on like a porch swing in a summer breeze. And like Grandpa Glenn always says, if you're fighting with your sweetheart, maybe it's just the Lord telling you to go fishing. Is that good advice? Sometimes, maybe. This has been your host, Julie May Morrill, with hugs and kisses from the Kiskatoon. Good day, and God bless. KRYVR River Radio is a homegrown production brought to you by KRYVR and the fine folks at True North Quests, helping you find your calling one story at a time. Written, edited, produced, and hosted by yours truly, Julie Morrill. Our beloved call-in host, James Jim Bob Simon, keeps things lively on the line. Special thanks to the talented musicians whose work helped bring today's episode to life. Cheesecake by Ofer Koren, our toe tap and intro theme. Tell Me Should I've Known by Victor Lundberg, Hands to Heaven by Tadash Keiji, Heartfelt Country Bluegrass by Alana Jordan, Italian Sweetness by DeVere Silverstone, Hold Me Tight by Chinmay Awasthi, and Sweet Acoustic Guitar by Maxime Malko. And last but never least, thanks be to God for every breath we breathe.